Global Lounge was started to promote cultural diversity in the community. It was started with the fact that when I got to the United States, I see a niche that needed this kind of a program. And moving to Boise as well was also a major factor in moving this program forward. It was started to bridge culture between the international community and the local community that we have here in the Treasure Valley. Some of the things that I'm trying to incorporate into the Global Lounge program that I think will benefit the world and benefit my community is some of the ideas, cultural ideas that I grew up with back in Africa. I'm from Nigeria. I was born in the Yoruba land, which is the southwestern part of Nigeria and West Africa. We do a lot of drumming, we do a lot of singing, and I'll say this to you. My grandmother taught me all these things that I know about culture. She took me to the church to learn traditional drumming. The joy of seeing people dancing while you're playing this, to me, tells me how therapeutic drumming and singing is. The music brings community together. It creates a bridge between people. I'm very passionate about Global Lounge just because of what it stands for, its mission, and its undertakings.
Global Lounge is really focused on bringing out the unique flavors of our community and building stronger relationships using the medium of art and music and dancing to help everyone express what's unique about their background and also to create a more interesting environment here. Celebrating the uniqueness of the people who are here helps us to develop much richer relationships and more meaningful lives.
Dio Ayodele, the executive director, is a great leader for Global Lounge, and he has spent a lot of time in schools. He spent a lot of time with the refugee service, New American Service providers here in our community to try and build some relationships and develop some community connections. And he has, in my mind, done some really amazing things in our community. Since I have come on board, Global Lounge has been able to expand some of our offerings. We have cultural forums that are happening down at the YMCA a couple of times a month for 2 hours, 3:30 to 5:30 on Saturdays. And we're also spending some time going into schools and doing some drumming and some educational workshops and cultural enrichment with the students there. In some cases, putting a drum in the hands of students who may be from Africa and who may have never experienced something from their own culture, their own heritage. And so it's really special to see the smiles on the faces of those young people as they take up drums for the first time.
The Global Lounge Cultural Exchange is a forum that's held on Saturdays at the YMCA, and it's a really fun event that brings anyone who wants to come into a big room together with instruments and music, and we usually will mix it up and do different things. Sometimes we'll have drumming workshops, and we'll have 20 or more people learning to play drums. We have had capoeira dancing, which is a Brazilian form of music and dance. The children are learning swimming lessons. They're all taking swimming lessons. And so really the Global Lounge Exchange, the cultural exchange, is intended to give people a way to come together and also build confidence and the ability to establish friendships with unique, different people that they've not met before.
I remember the first few years I lived here, I had a lot of people helping me. So it's not like I had to go out and fend for myself. But even then, when I can't imagine coming to a new country and start life all by yourself, not knowing where things are, what resources are available. So Global Lounge is very important to this community. It brings a richness from the various ethnic backgrounds, sharing the cultures, and it's very exciting.
When I first came to Global Lounge and went into an event, I didn't know what I was heading into. But when they started, playing the drums and watching all the kids dance together and seeing all people from different backgrounds interacting in such a fun, loving, and community-oriented way, it brought an awareness of how important it is to make these people feel comfortable and that they are wanted here and that we want to learn from them as well as they want to learn from us.
When I first came here to the US, it was a totally new culture for me, and it took about 2 years for me to get into the groove, be able to express myself and understand other people without being fearful of saying something wrong or offending someone. And what I've realized with my interaction through Global Lounge is that this process does not have to take 2 years. It could be much shorter than that. I mean, it could be just a few weeks, wherein people can be in one room from different cultures, be within the safety of their own cultural people, and at the same time express themselves by being involved in these forums. So what Global Lounge has meant to me is the fact that what took me 2 years can be a lot shorter process through Global Lounge Group, and that's a very meaningful thing